Get ready to enter the vortex. Starring Vandita.
And welcome to today's episode, which is called All Wrapped Up. I am Wrap Master V, the queen of wrapping. So, I thought it might help people, I know it's past the holidays, but it's always gift giving season in my house, to learn how to wrap presents and how to give presents. First of all, I have a nice box, excuse me, of wrapping paper and various wrapping implements that I've collected from gifts I've received and gifts that have come in the mail. And these are always quite handy for future gift giving opportunities. So I have this nice box, which is good for putting a card or a letter or something. I've got this, which is this really cute little thing. Old wrapping paper boxes, because sometimes stores don't have boxes that are appropriate. So I got little boxes here. I've also got ribbons and bows. Now let's see how I've organized my ribbons and bows, shall we? First of all, I put it in a nice little tube, which you can, well, I don't know where you can buy it, but I got mine at Tap Plastics. And I've ironed each bow that I've received in the past, folded it, and put it in a nice Ziploc baggie for easy reuse later. Nothing wrong with the bow, excellent for recycling. Now most of these are Christmassy, so what we need to do is, probably we won't need any of these today. I always caution people not to spend too much money on wrapping paper. A good place to buy it is at, say, a warehouse location, because if you do that, then for like a couple of bucks you can get a bunch of rolls of wrapping paper, and you can also get matching, what do you call this?
Ribbons.
Ribbons and bows. Thank you. Okay. In this particular instance, we are wrapping some gifts that I'm giving to my niece for her birthday. Now, these items were already folded by the store, but they didn't do a good enough job. So I refolded. And since it's a nice little gift, we want to put it into tissue paper. So you need to put the tissue paper...
I never quite understood the tissue paper. I mean, doesn't that just give you more crap to throw away after you get the gift? Or
That's right. But it makes people feel good. So
I guess also it takes them that extra second to flip over the wrapping paper or the tissue paper, sort of increasing the amount of suspense. Is that?
I really don't know the traditions. I'm not a fan of tissue paper myself, but since I happen to have some, put it in like so, and don't worry about cutting the tags off. There's really no reason to. If they need to return it, it's so much easier with the tags on, and that way they know how much you spent on them, especially if you spend a lot of money. Then this way they will give you a similar gift, hopefully of a similar quality in return. So I put that.
Whatever happened to it's the thought that counts?
Apparently that's not the case. Unfortunately. And you're right, that is how we should all do that, but like I said, not the case. Okay. Again, to store your wrapping, don't be fooled and pay an extra $20 or $10 for a plastic box that says it's specifically for wrapping paper, okay? You're just wasting your money. Okay, so even for the holidays, it's good to just to buy some generic paper. that looks like it might be appropriate for any gift-giving occasion. So don't buy stuff that just says, oh, Happy Easter, because you're just going to be left with a bunch of wrapping paper, and there's really no need for that. Okay, now you roll the wrapping paper out, size the box so that you have a little bit left on either side of the box.
That's not going to be enough to go all the way around.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Shall we place bets on this? Shall we place bets on this?
Now, the seam should be at the bottom. So, make sure it's tight.
Okay, apparently you were right.
And just have some,
Wait, you're supposed to fold over an edge.
no,
No, that will eliminate paper cuts. You
no,
also should put the tape, like roll it up and put it underneath so that there's no sign of the tape.
nope. We're talking about being quick and efficient and yet doing a good job with the wrapping. So, you just fold down the corners like so,
Again,
Like-
you're supposed to fold that edge up. Ugh, you're just not doing it right.
like so. Now, what you don't want to do is put too much tape on it so people can't open the gift. I used to do that and it's just annoying. So just put enough tape to keep it nice and even. But there's no reason, and then you can just put it on its side to put in the rest. The key is having a good tape dispenser that's heavy enough so you don't need to buy those ones that hang out on your wrist. Just regular standard tape dispenser that's weighted on the bottom. And ta-da! And since we're going to be festive and use up the bows, otherwise there's nothing else I have for the bows, or ribbon, I'll be stuck with a bunch of ribbon that I don't really need. So just take a bunch of ribbon out. Doesn't matter if you take extra out, you can always include that in the bow later.
Are you going to need my finger in this one?
Nope.
When I was a kid, my mom always would make me go and hold my finger there while she tied the...
Right, because she didn't know how to do it right.
I see.
Put the gift face down on the ribbon. Oh, by the way, if you buy a gift from an expensive store, don't bother wrapping it, because that way they'll know you got it from the expensive store. Plus, the expensive stores have much better boxes than the cheap stores. Not to say that what I'm getting for my niece is from a cheap store, it's not, but not all stores that are expensive have good.
Now, what about the technique where, you get a really nice gift from somebody and it comes in a nice box, say from a place like Tiffany's or something? Is it considered sort of deceitful then to take that Costco jewelry and put it into that Tiffany's box? Or
Yes, it is, and thank you for bringing that up. When people do that, it really makes it difficult to return things. Don't.
Because then you show up at Tiffany's with these cubic zirconias and they laugh at you.
Right. Don't ever do something like that. It embarrasses you, and let me tell you, the gift recipient is not going to be happy.
Now, was that a miscalculation there that you had all that extra ribbon, or
Nope.
was that planned?
I planned to have extra ribbon, and I just worked it in.
I see.
Simple, right? And let's demonstrate it again in case we didn't get it the first time. Eyeball the gift. If you're not confident of the measurements, well, I don't know. You better learn how to eyeball stuff.
Well, you could also just kind of flip the box over all the way, and if it goes all the way around, you got enough, right?
Yes, you can do that. Again, you don't need to really worry about cutting it straight or anything. There's really
Now see, could I just talk you into doing a little bit with you do the fold? Because some people like to do the fold. And you should demonstrate that for your viewers who may also like to do the fold. Very good. Can you put the tape on the underside?
Yes.
Okay. So now this will be sort of professional gift wrapping if, you want to actually look like you know what you're doing.
Right, and in that case, you'd want some double-sided tape, which I do have. I have all kinds of tape, but I didn't actually bring out for purposes of the show. So yes, you can do this too. And there are no seams. And then in this case, you still do the same thing with the ends. Oh, I didn't show what was in this box. Oops. It's a cute little jumper with flowers that's velvet and a cute little matching coat.
Realize if the show airs before her birthday, she'll know what she's getting.
It won't air, and she can't watch TV anyway. She's only one. Not even one yet.
Now are you going to do the fold over on the side as well?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
So again, for this side, if you can't see it, you go like this, and then you just fold it over the top one so that there's no seam. So you can't see the edges of the wrapping paper. It kind of helps if you make a mistake with the wrapping paper. That's all. Like if you don't cut it perfectly, this is a good way to repair that. And you never need anybody's help to wrap gifts, ever. If you are, you're not doing it right. Same goes for folding sheets. I don't know why people need help folding sheets. I mean, good God. I don't know how people get work done if we always have to ask other people for help. So, nice clean edge. Thing is, you want to be able to do this quickly, because I know for the holidays, I did all my wrapping, and even I made some baskets, and I even wrapped those by myself without any assistance. Within half an hour?
Okay, now Vandita, I've got a couple of questions. First of all, when I was younger, we used to always, very often would use patterned paper instead of this, sort of plain stuff. So we'd have kids' paper with little pictures on it or whatever. And often what we tried to do was to line up the seams so you couldn't quite tell, like if you got lucky, you could make it line up such that the pattern kind of repeated itself right at the seam. Do you have any tips for people on how you might make that happen?
If you're buying patterned paper that's patterned like that, that's like tray tacky. And so the tip is, like, don't buy that anymore. That's like crap paper.
Oh, but come on, I've seen some paper with patterns that looks quite nice.
Not that you would have to match it up if
Okay.
you're repeating patterns.
So you're recommending then to always go with a plain...
Solid is classy. The set that this came with actually had some gold and white flower patterned paper, and it also had some, I forget the other one, like a striped squares, cross hatching. In those cases, you don't need to match it up. I don't know where you learned that. I'm sorry. So here again, there's no seams, so it looks, somewhat cleaner because this tape is not invisible, so you can see it on the ends.
Okay.
Like she's gonna know. She's 1 year old.
Okay, now I've got another question. Now, you've wrapped two gifts there that are, nice boxes, okay? However, sometimes you get something like a big old stuffed animal or a basket, as you had pointed out, or something. How does one go about wrapping those? It's not quite as easy when it's not square,
It actually is very, very easy. Let me finish with this one, and I'll give you, if you want to bring a basket or something in the meantime,
Yeah, I'll go find something that would be interesting to wrap.
then I can demonstrate that for you as well. Now again, the more bows you have, the better. La la la. It's always a good idea. But really, the plain ones are just so much classier. Let me give you a little tip. Okay, I'm doing the end. Just fold it over
Let
in
me
half
zoom in on this. This is actually kind of neat.
and take the scissor.
Cut on a diagonal, and you end up with very good.
Professional edging. This is good for cloth ribbons. This is something I learned from the gift wrapping at Neiman Marcus. And that's kind of handy when you where's I going with that? I don't know. Anyway, it's just kind of handy. It makes it seem like that much more classy. And if you want to be exact about it, you need to make sure that the gold tone is on both sides, which unfortunately this is one way on the one side and shiny on the other. So it requires a little bit of extra handling. Yeah. Now I'm messing up.
Underneath.
Yes. What happened here, because the ribbon is dull on one side, shiny on the other, is that I had to do a little bit of triage.
But hang on, isn't it supposed to cross over on the back?
Well, this is the bottom.
I see.
Watch and learn. So I'm just putting a little bit of tape. It's the bottom, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And now the top, everything's shiny. And if we want, we can actually do the same thing here. All you're doing is you're folding it in a corner. So you're just triangulating the fold. And sticking tape over underneath it. Now again, double-sided tape would be ideal here, but I didn't plan for this. And I don't know, people do something like this. Oops. To make it curly or something, I don't know. I think they take the edge of the
Yeah, you
scissors.
put the edge of the scissors. Yes, and it makes it curly. Sorry.
Well, whatever.
Yes, this is the remedial package wrapping class today.
Whatever, you can make a nice little bow. You
Okay,
know.
fair enough. So now back to my earlier question of, when you have an odd-shaped object, I've brought something here.
Okay, Bob here has brought an oddly shaped object to wrap. And I'm using one of the old ones to demonstrate how to wrap this. So, first of all, place the object in the center of your piece of wrapping paper. And then we're going to pick up one piece and you're just going to fold around. Let me see if I can do it from the opposite side so you can see what I'm doing. All you're doing is you're creating creases on purpose. Now obviously for alcoholic gifts, you'd want to have bought a bag or, you know, for wine, a nice little gift wrapped bag. But then you just keep going all the way around the gift. And it's not going to be perfect, but that's not the idea for something like this. You can do a similar type of activity on a basket. It's to give it a little bit of character, basically. Usually something like this will have come in a box, but maybe you wanted to keep the free gift that came with the alcohol, so all you're giving somebody is the bottle.
They do make special things that you can, like boxes for wine and other standard size bottles, correct?
Correct.
And you can just get those, and it obviously makes it much easier.
So here, all you've done is like this, like so.
That's almost like a little flower on the top. You tie it with a ribbon, and there you go, eh?
Right, now what you could do very easily is just to hold it while you get the ribbon, tie it around with tape. Don't worry about the wrinkles in the wrapping paper. I hate people who recycle wrapping paper. Ah. You know, sometimes the little red and green theme at Christmas gets to be a little much. So yeah, you can make it like this. If you like, put
That's going to kind of give away what it is, though, right?
that's, you know, for something like this, that's, doesn't really matter. They probably know what it is anyway. Maybe put a little bow on top, or if you want, you could just fold it in on itself and take that. So again, very easy to do, very festive, very decorative, and you can put a tape on here.
I remember a few years back, a cousin of mine wanted a telescope for Christmas, and we had actually gotten him the telescope, but we'd also gotten him several other things, including, I think, some pairs of socks and other things that, you know, he was about 10 or 11 at the time. Kids 10 or 11 generally don't like to get socks for Christmas. So as a bit of a joke, what we did is we took some the rolls from some empty wrapping papers, and we turned it into, looked like a telescope, and then wrapped it, and of course inside was the socks. He was most confused as he saw it sitting under the tree.
Oh God, another tacky idea from the house of Wilson. So we do have some blue bow, and we have some green bow, and probably the cream.
I think the cream would match on this one.
Well, no, what I was going to suggest is you could put in like a bunch of different colors, and you can make it very festive. And I've taken these from previous wreaths that I had.
A wreath? Maybe one of those like round things that people
yeah,
have
at Christmas.
Okay.
And I saved these, And this would really make a nice festive touch to the present. Sometimes you can go overboard in saving stuff, so I don't want to advocate this as a way of life. And yet for something like this, all you'd have to do is kind of plant it at one of the ends, put a little bit of tape on it, and all of a sudden it might be a vase that you're giving to somebody. Now granted, the wrapping paper does not match the flowers. I understand that. I'm aware. But it would make a really nice little touch to a gift. Or, for example, to one of these, you could take it and cut the bottom. Cut the bottom. And all of a sudden you've added a really nice finishing touch to a gift like this. And again, it doesn't quite match the paper, so I'm not going to do that this time. Actually, I might do it on this last gift, even though the tape doesn't match. For kids, it's always important to get a card.
And why is that?
Because they'll be collecting it, the parents will. So, anyway, just tape the card to the gift. And this year I'm getting a very special gift for my niece, which is a personalized driver's license, or license plate. And what I should have done instead of putting in this envelope, and I think I'll do that now, is since I don't know when I'm receiving the actual custom plates, is take the documentation paper, put it in the box, like so. And let's take these flowers and just tape them on here.
You do understand it will be 15 years before this individual's even old enough to drive.
Yes, but the point is you have to reserve the plates early. It's like getting a child into the proper private school. Remember what I always say, if you're going to have a child, reserve the domain name and get the personalized license plate first before you have aforementioned child. Well, okay. Yeah, don't wrap gifts and pretend like they're something that they're not. Don't, look, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put gifts, inside nestings. That's just really not necessary at all. Make it what it is. Sometimes kids like the surprises, but really they'd rather just get what they asked for and not something weird and stupid. So I'm a firm believer in lists. So if you ever want to buy me a gift, just ask me and I'll email you the whole list. Anyway, I don't have any matching bows, but I think we've done an excellent job with the gift wrapping here. And so I'm the Anal Retentive Housewife, saying it's not just a show, it's a way of life.